It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together. We'll always see you right outside, just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours forever. Are we part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better, I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside?
Well, I say good morning and welcome to the breakfast hour this morning. Good morning, good morning. I see smiles, I see laughter, I am hearing. Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Oh, magnificent Monday, Lady Elise and Mikey G. Hope you had a great weekend.
My weekend was, one of those weekends that takes me to another level, I had a great time. I'll be honest with you, this weekend was
Awesome.
not a bad one. Like I said, many things would have happened that could be deemed making it not so good. But as I would want to do is to select the idea that I can decide whether or not I'm going to make it so or not, or I'm going to accept it,
Awesome.
So I choose the higher ground and say, despite all the things that could possibly or is going a little south, I'm going to take it that I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to say, you know what, God, thank you. It was good. So I did have a great weekend in that sense. I got a chance to step into the temple and give some praises, and I got a chance to just spend some quality time and alone time, with the Almighty. So yeah, that was for me a good place to be on this weekend.
Uh,
So
Sounds
that's
awesome.
my little testimony right there. So
Of course. Lady Elise, how was your weekend?
It was wonderful, and I will hasten to say, no testimony is a little one, Mikey G.
my little testimony is not a little testimony this morning.
No testimony is.
Lady Credit
Yeah.
Karen come back and she is, all decked out in royal robes. So let's hear. I don't think we should ask her how things are going with her. I think she just by just coming on this morning and just being here, in the breakfast hour, we already know what's going on. So yeah,
I'm in good company.
you're in good company. You might have to tell me those companies' names.
Mikey G and Lady Elise. And the beautiful people
There it is.
the who are viewing and maybe listening to us. So I'm in good company. So you're correct.
I just,
You're
this
correct.
week, so much happened this week already. So many things that happened. Of course, I've seen a bill that was passed. Anybody see the bill that was not passed yet, but is in discussion for 20 years, need to come, and it's now on the table.
What is that bill?
It's a sexual harassment.
That's the bill right there. Sexual harassment bill is on the table. And it's a
Yeah.
long discussion on that one. That one is something that, it has so many different what you call facets.
Yes,
Mm.
It has so many different facets. It is not as simple as it's sexual harassment bill that is there. It
yes.
is a bill that can determine quite a few things coming soon, 2025, 2026. And
Yeah,
I
and
don't
I
think,
agree with you. I
yes,
agree with you wholeheartedly, Mikey G. It is something that we certainly will need to table to sort of delve into,
yeah, yeah.
so that we can have more information, share it,
Hmm.
and maybe digest it. Maybe it could be an opportunity for us to invite one of the technocrats to come and share what it really
Exactly.
means.
Yeah.
So, but for today, we're reflecting and also preparing or projecting. So, this morning, it is certainly our opportunity to look at the things that didn't go so well. I would say we held on to a little bit too long in 2024, things that were not so positive, some bad habits. And so we're going to be directing our attention this morning on those bad habits. But more importantly, what are the five good ones that we maybe need to inculcate for 2025 to make sure that we're, as you rightly said, we're intentional in making sure that we go high in 2025. So certainly want to invite our viewers and our listeners to join in as we will do a short reflection, but spend a lot of time looking at how can we make 2025 more positive, and maybe we can identify at least five things that we can target as instances or characteristics that we want to hone in on to make it more positive.
Mm.
Certainly, that sounds very interesting, Karen. And the number one thing, Mikey G, can you imagine what that number one thing is? The number one thing that we're leaving behind for 2024 is procrastination.
Mm.
That direction. Out the window. Yeah, I think I
And
think I think procrastination has been a
Thief of time.
of time.
a killer
Yes.
of inspiration.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but when you think about it, I again I'm guilty
Mm.
because when I look at a task or I
Mm.
look at something that usually is a big things, right? It's the things that are going to be impactful. So I have to approach. One, I'll note it and I will put it aside for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just stays in the back of my mind. It doesn't go away,
Right.
but I have to be deliberate in going back to it and making sure that I pick it up. As you mentioned, it's a thief of time. So by the time you get back to it, then you're scrambling to try and one, digest what it is that you need to do, and then execute it. And then the panic sets in because you're thinking, if only I had more time
I only
to
had
do
more time
it,
to do that.
then one, the anxiety wouldn't be so high.
Mm.
Two, I would maybe have tapped into more resources to better address what it
Mm.
is
What is happening?
and maybe be more effective. So I'll be one of those who I think I have identified it as something that I really need to address. So I will be joining that bandwagon of putting it aside as much as I possibly can because it's my go-to.
Don't let it be the thief of time.
Absolutely.
Procrastination. Simply uh, would, while it didn't kill the idea or good ideas, they would make them delay so long that it becomes, a little bit ineffective or
Yeah.
becomes, in a sense, obsolete too quickly. You know, when if acted on immediately would have real yield the effect so great, right? And many persons have gone through 2024 having great ideas, having great um, concepts and something that they want to do, important stuff that would be something awesome 2025. And you can watch your neighbor or somebody, a friend, actually doing the very thing, or somebody you don't know doing the very thing that you thought about. And if you had done it, what would have become, you know? And
Yeah.
so, you can see yourself not doing it while somebody else is. It is saying that when you have an idea, at least six persons at the same time, not necessarily at the same place, have the same
Mhm.
idea, but it's which one of you that act on it immediately that will, of course, be recognized for what it really is. You know, they were doing the bulb, the light bulb. It wasn't the only person who was doing it. Your other persons were actually thinking about it. But in essence, this is the person. And if you look at some of those stories too, there are persons who actually did it first, but because of um, you know, the, this I don't even want to go there, but this color of your skin sometimes can create the block for people not seeing you first and wait for somebody right color to see it happen. I'm saying it to that way. I don't want to sound that way. I sound bad for somebody to hear it, and it is true that it burns like a sun above, and of course that's what it is. But you have to just know what truth is. But that's a true thing. When you look at some of the things that have been created, you can see how much some of it was done, but the persons who actually did it were not recognized for it. And then you could hear the story afterwards, and somebody says, "You're making it up," but it's not. You can go to the histories, the books, and you can see the actual facts of what really took place. But like I would say, the idea is when you have them, just go do it. And once you're doing it, don't look at anyone's, you listen to anybody telling you what you shouldn't do, or it's a stupid idea. How often did you get to do something great and somebody say to you, that just sounds real ridiculous? Who think of stuff like that? The ridiculous
Yeah,
thing.
man,
Yes.
you need a witness for that one, Mikey G. So that's one of the things we ought to leave behind
Mm.
in 2024. Procrastination.
Leave that there.
Yeah, preach it. Of course.
Leave that there.
What do we replace it with, Lady Elise?
Tap in. Just to say that I said it a while ago. Don't let anybody tell you you cannot do it.
But sometimes it's yourself. You're having that self-talk, and you're saying to yourself, well, maybe tomorrow. Let me put it off for tomorrow. Let me put it off for later
Listen.
in the day. How do we counter procrastination?
We have to be deliberate, CoraleeKaren. And one of the things that we do is consistently, and you hinted at so many ways. You spoke about self-talk, and we have engaged in so many discussions over 2024. And sometimes it's more often than not difficult to implement these strategies moving forward in 2025. And of course, I learned um, it was a simple lesson, but now I know I strike while the iron is hot. So listen, if I'm doing it today, I'm just doing it today. Yeah, so CoraleeKaren, if you make an offer for me and say, we could go for gelato this evening or tomorrow, I would say this evening because tomorrow you might say, Ellie, I'm not feeling too well, or the car is not starting today. No. So
Yeah,
right now is when I'm doing that, not tomorrow.
yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. So we need to be intentional, is what you're saying,
Well,
to make
what I
sure
heard
that
from
we
that is
counter.
what I heard from that is if you can treat every idea or every situation as gelato, we'll get it right away.
Ouch.
That's
All right, so the number.
my ear. No, my ear didn't fool me. Did my ear fool me? No? I guess so.
Oh my goodness, that's my go-to. So
No, I'm not
you're
saying that, but I'm
absolutely.
saying in reality, it is true. If we treat the thing that
Yeah.
we want to do as the most important thing that we like, or
Yes.
something that we like, I like.
Yes.
There's something that I like to do, and if I treat it that way, if I like music, for example, I like to do music and everything like that. If I treat
do?
every task, yes, I
Really?
love to do music. Yes, I love it. I love to do music. If I treat every task the same way when I come up with a situation or something to deal with, as I like to go to do some music and stuff, then I would just go right away to do it because I like to do it right away.
Yes.
You know?
I
And
agree.
I would feel not to procrastinate, but to go do it because I enjoy it so much and I look forward to doing it. So I guess that's a way to treat it this year. So if you're listening and you
It's
want
perspective.
and you
It sounds
want
like you're telling me I need to put into focus everything that I need to do and look at it as Jonathan. You know, like when you used to watch cartoon and you know the mirage, it comes up as what the cartoon wants it to be.
yeah,
So I'm going
right,
to
right.
I'm going to
I'm in a
configure.
desert. I'm in a desert and I'm hungry and it's a chicken leg. And when I actually look at it again,
It's a piece of steak.
I don't know how many of us had the opportunity to listen to Sensational Sunday yesterday.
Well, some of us did. I certainly did. I enjoyed the program, and I did enjoy the program. I must say that. It was a very
Yeah.
interesting. It was a very interesting conversation. I was like, oh my god.
Good morning, Dr. Jamila Brown. Of course, she has certainly.
She taught the skill, man. She taught
Yeah.
the skill. You know, I thought about the idea of, you know, many persons, you know, we think we are thinking about how we look at various situations and when we are in it. The thing
Yes.
is, when we are in it is another thing than us looking at it, you know. And here it is that you're finding yourself, you're strapped, you're in a place where there is just survival mode you have to be in. And then
Survival
just
mode.
survival mode.
Yeah. So you know, while we're leaving procrastination behind in 2024, CoraleeKaren, what's the number 2 thing that we need to leave behind in 2024?
Oh, give me a minute.
2024 has proven to be a very hostile little fellow, you know. And it
Toxic
a good one.
relationships.
it has destroyed so many things. It probably have made so many things better, but was a very hostile year. Don't check it and think it didn't do its damage, you know. You know,
You mentioned
2025.
better though. I'm trying to reconcile the better with it.
No, I'm
The
telling you that
damage.
2025 for some persons. Look at what happened in 2024. Donald Trump won the election. That wasn't a good thing for many persons. They were like, right, even to swearing in. It's like everybody's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's, you know, and I'm listening to all of that 2024 story, and it was a serious thing for many persons.
Yeah.
Many persons were saying Kamala Harris was supposed to win, and of course she's a better. In fact, even Siri. I watched the Siri test when it was. I think it was, no, it wasn't Siri. It was the Alexia, I think, the Google AI, when they asked about Donald Trump and say, well, if Donald Trump, you know, to say what he says, there's no data to tell you what, whatever. Right? There's no data. I should play that clip. But anyways, but when you say, talk about Kamala Harris, and you start to say that she will be a good, strong leader for the country, and it tells all the things that she will do. You know, and so
Yeah.
we listen to the arguments, you know, but you know, in despite of what different persons would have said, this is a reality, and many persons are either happy or scared or unhappy, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
So 2025
well-
did do something for some persons. Also, 2025, 24 actually, sorry, also showed that there's a new reason for an election. As we touched on that for the Cayman Islands, and there were some devastating blows to the government by different people doing different things and different happenings. It was a whole lot of stuff going on where that is concerned. So
So the encouragement is to leave toxic relationships and negativity. And what do we replace it with, Lady Elise?
2025,
Yes.
non-toxic.
You have to care for your mental
Yourself.
health and being mindful in your relationships. And so it's and when we say toxic relationship and negativity, it's not directed at um, personal, like my relationships or anything. It goes across the board, and being deliberate in saying, and it's interesting because when the new year came, I had an encounter with a few individuals who were so negative. Even though we were communicating, I wanted to have a certain thing done and they didn't agree, and it's okay to disagree, but in a positive way, you can still empower the individual. You can say, I think it could be done a different way. And I refuse to come into 2025 being treating anyone less than I should, because certainly we recognize sometimes, and I must bring on this of CoraleeKaren. Sometimes we're busy working and we're busy going to church and we're busy living, and somebody is annoying us and we don't realize that our life is much more than the jobs and we have to sit in the church and we go to church early. But our neighbor next door, they park wrong in front of us and we just tell them off because we were late to go. Yeah, we were late to go to the temple. You made me late. But what was more important for you at that time is to minister to that individual.
Wow.
And you missed the opportunity.
Yes.
So this year I want to be deliberate. I want to
Not drive past anybody this year.
yeah, and it's not at work, at home, at school, at everywhere. Treat everyone with the same. So I am in not embracing the negativity and leaving the toxicity alone. The toxic people will be around, but how I deal with it and how I let them impact my life, I think, is
Well,
paramount.
as you raise that topic on toxic, the word alone by itself burns a little bit because we are listening to all of 2024 toxic masculinity, you know, and these are some of the things that I'm going there. I'm going right there. I listen to those conversations being had with many persons coming off toxic masculinity. And what was actually happening was masculinity was being deemed toxic, right? It wasn't that there was a thing because masculinity cannot be anything else but what it is. It's like saying, look at toxic Christianity. Can Christianity be toxic? Then if you're saying it is, then something is wrong with the very concept of what it is. You see?
Yeah.
So we apply the name. It's like toxic marriages. Somebody will say to me, Mikey G, this is true, it's true, marriages can be toxic. Then do not get involved in the thing. Because possibly you are the toxic person. You know? So
So you're agreeing, Mikey G, that we're going to move away from, and the truth is, and I hear what you're saying is that identify it for what it is, and if it is, so if you're going into a marriage, make sure that you're going in it with
so
great intentions, good
so
intentions,
the
and
idea is
making
that
sure
not the marriage is toxic, but the
it's
people
the
who are
individual.
involved in the thing are toxic, right?
Yeah,
And
I
so
heard a saying that it says there are no perfect relationship. There's no perfect person. It is a relationship is perfect when both persons commit themselves to bringing 100% to contributing to the the growth of it. That's what makes it perfect. The commitment of the two individuals. Moving right along, I know we're past 8 o'clock, so I will ask permission if I should go ahead or do we stop
well,
for
no, you
the
can
news?
you can jump right ahead of toxic masculinity and go on to something else.
So I will go through the remaining three because we had committed to looking at five. So we have overcommitting myself, unhealthy habits, the fear of failure. So maybe what we could do, ladies and gentlemen, is have our viewers and listeners marinate the three. We go to the news, and when we come back, we can delve a little bit more
Maybe we should
into.
look at. Maybe we should also look at. We just talk about toxic things. We could look at the idea of what toxic actually is, and if there is such a thing and what it is, then how can we move ourselves from it? Give us at least that 3 point of saying what it is first. If there are people that are toxic, how should you deal with such a situation when you find yourself within toxic environment with people like
Independence,
that?
absolutely,
And you want to
absolutely.
see that as a real thing, you know. In fact, what you're looking at the news will probably bring out the idea of the new bill that is passed with the sex harassment thing. Let's see how that will be a part of the whole toxic thing and can be changed a little bit.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like we have consensus that
Yes,
we
yes,
would have
yes.
touched the topics after the news. We will certainly return to delve a little bit more as long as time allows us to do so. So, over to the news at this time. Please continue to stay with us.
I think time can allow us to do it.
You created, right?
Well,
Claiming it.
Lady
All right,
time.
news time.
Yes, of course. News is brought to us by Asai Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs right here in Grand K.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Hour on Flashpoint Radio. These are your news headlines. I'm CoraleeKaren. Wildfires strike close to home for Cayman director. Caymanian producer and director Sean Rankin has urged the public to prioritize disaster preparedness after facing the threat of deadly wildfires near his Nicholas Canyon neighborhood in Los Angeles. Speaking from Grand Cayman, Rankin recalled receiving evacuation alerts as infernos raged early this week. Claiming 10 lives and destroying 10,000 buildings, he shared his disbelief at the devastation and emphasized the importance of readiness for emergencies. Love is in the air. Marriages outpace divorces in the Cayman Islands. Chief Justice Margaret Ramsey Hale delivered an optimistic update as the Cayman Islands prepare for Valentine's Day celebrations. She announced that 660 marriages were recorded last year, far surpassing the 233 divorce decrees issued. This marks a shift from the previous year when divorce rates were significantly higher. Ramsey Hale expressed hope that this trend signals a rekindling of romance across the islands. Cayman welcomes first baby of 2025. Vanessa Ebanks Riley and her husband Shadrach rang in the new year with the birth of their son, Caxion Phoenix Adam Riley, who arrived just before his January 6th due date. Speaking with the Cayman Press, Ebanks Riley joked that she had hoped for a December baby, but was thrilled with her New Year's surprise. Congratulations to the happy family. Sexual harassment bill published after 20 years of talks. The long-awaited Anti-Sexual Harassment Bill 2025 has been published and is set to be debated in Parliament later this month. The proposed law includes fines for harassment and requires employers to implement anti-harassment policies. However, campaigners are calling for stronger penalties, arguing that the draft legislation doesn't go far enough. Premier Juliana O'Connor Connolly is expected to declare the bill an urgent matter, allowing for immediate debate. Tragic house fire claims lives of 3 children in St. Anne. A heartbreaking house fire in Walker's Wood, St. Anne, has claimed the lives of 3 children, while an elderly woman and another child managed to escape. Preliminary reports suggest the fire started in a room where the children were sleeping. Investigations are ongoing. Northeast St. Anne MP Matthew Samuda called the incident a tragedy and expressed his condolences to the grieving family. PNP's historic win in Northeast Manchester. Mark Golding, leader of Jamaica's People's National Party, has predicted a historic victory in the Northeast Manchester constituency in the upcoming general elections. The PNP has selected Valentin Val Wint to contest the seat as incumbent MP Alder Shaw of the Jamaica Labour Party announced his retirement. Golden described the area as critical to the party's success and expressed confidence in Wint's candidacy. In Barbados, missing elderly woman found safe. The Barbados Police Service has confirmed that 74-year-old Coral Oxley, who was reported missing last Wednesday, has been found safe. Authorities thanked the public for their assistance in locating the Churchill resident, who was last seen by her husband. China, UK revive economic talks after 6 years. China and the UK resumed economic and financial discussions this week after a 6-year pause. UK Chancellor Raquel Reeves led a delegation to Beijing, emphasizing a need for stable, pragmatic relationship despite tensions over spying allegations, the Ukraine war, and Hong Kong. Reeves highlighted mutual interests while acknowledging areas of disagreement. China denounces HMPV fear-mongering claims. China's foreign ministry has dismissed claims that the human metapneumovirus virus HMPV is an unknown virus, labeling such allegations as fear-mongering. Spokesperson Gio Jaikun explained that HMPV is a common respiratory virus that has been around for 60 years. China is maintaining close communication with the World Health Organization to monitor the situation. That wraps up your breakfast hour news highlights. Stay tuned to Flashpoint Radio for more updates throughout the day. Wishing you a productive and informed morning.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4, Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Aside ultrasound imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Aside Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Alright, so, welcome back. It has been, what a news, so much in the news this morning.
Well, I am going to counter the hostility or the toxicity with the fact
The toxicity
with the welcome news about the 600 and odd persons who tied the knot relative to the 230 odd persons who untied it.
How many untied again?
233
And how
to
many
the
tied?
600 and something. So it means that love is still in the air, love is still viable, love is
That's
still.
1/3. That's what? It's 1/4.
I will come down on the 1/3 as
It's a
well.
1/3.
Yes.
It's a 1/3. It's a 1/3. It's like the amount of angels that fell from heaven. Yes, I remember.
Well, certainly we can transition this discussion to our Friday family because it's quite interesting that the numbers are saying more marriages than
divorces. Yeah, it's not a bad thing to see going on.
It's
not bad.
encouraging.
Very encouraging. In light of toxicity.
But on a sad note, on a very sad note, the fire, the fire from California has spread
That's not
to
true at all,
Jamaica.
boy. I can tell you.
Because when I said spread to Jamaica, when three children,
Yes.
You mean the fire spread from California and
10-year-old,
ended up in
2-year-old,
Jamaica?
in their beds. I was looking on the picture on social media,
Wow.
and of course, that's so painful to just see the remains of 3 children, all of one family, perishing in a fire.
Absolutely. And so it then goes back to our being very protective of our little ones. It's very unfortunate that it has happened, and we continue to pray for and to express our condolences to the family. And as in good human spirit, I'm sure the community, immediate and the wider community, will support them however they can in rebuilding, or picking up the pieces. It's good. It's very difficult. I can tell you that if anything happened to my children, even if my son, any one of them feeling a bit of pain, I am going to be feeling it as well, and I'm going to be in protective mode. I'm going to want to make sure that nothing is spared in making sure that my child is comforted.
Yes.
So I cannot. I am 100%. I cannot even begin to understand what the family is going through.
Wow.
But
it's rough.
We
It's
pray.
It's a rough.
Yeah. And
episode.
also those persons, there are persons in California as well who have lost their lives. There are people who have lost their homes. There are a lot of people. When you think about it, it's the beginning of sorrow, all these disasters. It says to me that we just need to recognize the times that we're living in, to be more loving, and in terms of our relationships as well, to build that sort of security, being positive,
Mm-hmm.
affirming each other, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you want to make sure that you get the full wealth of being a part of the lives of individuals, you know. So be different. Tell somebody I love you. Hug that person. Be
You
counter to
know,
what's happening now, where the first thing we're doing is to separate ourselves. But maybe this time we can really be present in making sure our relationships are positive. And we begin with begin with yourselves. You know.
I went and saw a funeral yesterday. I wasn't a part of the whole thing, but I was at the location, as I said earlier. Um, and I looked and I saw grieving persons sitting in in grief of their loved one, lay at the in the casket, and lots of flowers and lots of wreaths, lots of everywhere was just yeah, as men, we don't normally get flowers. As men, you don't normally give a man flowers. That's not something
Yeah.
that is.
Unless he likes it. Unless he likes it.
I like flowers really. I like flowers. I tell this story all the time. I used to go and circumpose every different um variety of the rose plant, and I'd bring it to my house and I'd plant it.
Oh,
Because
nice.
yeah, I love rose and I know the significance of it. I learned it early as a young man, of the red rose being the one that says I love you and I give it to a young lady. So I had quite a few red roses to give out at some point.
I don't know. I didn't want to go there,
No,
but
no,
yeah.
I'm saying something to you.
He was spreading the love.
I'm spreading the love, right? So no, I'm telling you. Let me say it. As a young man, you should be able to find yourself
Spreading love.
spreading your love. But of course, there is us as young men at the time. We just see a young lady. It's not more than just that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't go further. Like people think that you should be doing something else. No, we just like somebody and we just give them a rose because we say we love you. And it is something that we do. And it is sometimes when we give the rose to someone, it's not because you are intimately feeling that, but you love the person and you did give them a rose, and the person can say, you know, you really think I'm special, and it cheers up everyone. And I found it to be very interesting that I could do this for so many persons, and I think it was a fun thing for me to do, you know. And I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and he said, imagine when we're alive, persons would never give us anything or do anything nice for us. But when we are dead, everybody comes and they're bringing every single flowers they can find. I don't like flowers personally like that. So don't bring any roses for me. Do something nice
Yeah.
while I'm alive. For the women, I don't think the women will say, don't give me any flowers, but give me the flowers when I'm alive. So figuratively, we could say, give us flowers for men who don't really think flowers is the thing to give to us, right? And women who knows that flowers is what we appreciate you with. Use it figuratively. Give us the flowers
Mm.
when we're
You know,
alive.
I find what I have observed is that we become so defensive and suspicious of each other that
Mm.
we're hesitant to be expressive in that regard.
Yes.
You don't want people to either think you're vulnerable or to think that you are soft,
Mm.
and so sometimes we refrain and maybe cloak it
So you become a crab.
in
You become a crab.
toxicity.
You become a crab when you're not a crab. The hard back.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha.
Like the analogy, and so maybe what we need to do is to go back to the stage where we can be vulnerable with each
Mm.
other, especially our family and our friends. Start there, you know.
Ye-
It will cause us to sometimes step on each other's toe, but then I believe that even in that circumstance, we should be so open to go to the person. Did you notice that you stepped on my toe? I really didn't appreciate it. And so even in those circumstances or situations, we can still be kind
But it is difficult.
and foster relationships and forgiveness, I mean, I'm talking about it, and what comes to my mind, Mikey G, is that it's not as easy as saying it.
Yeah.
It's something that we have to be, uh, we're beating the word deliberate. You have to be intentional.
It's a deliberate act.
Exactly. Because sometimes when you do it, you're going to go off with so many reasons why or how the person is going to react. But the vulnerability is, despite not knowing, and it could be negative, the reaction, but be putting yourself out there to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, and be confident knowing that it is a means to reconciling that relationship.
As you said that a while ago, I want to touch on. Did we have any news? Did we get a chance? I'm not sure I don't. I'm probably shouldn't be saying this, but for the bill that was passed, the one that we're talking about,
The sexual harassment bill.
but I don't want to talk. No, I want to say it afterwards. But I want to say this, that it's difficult that you are unable to be vulnerable with family. It's a difficult thing that you cannot be, because if you are, you find yourself in a situation. And when we look at it like that, it's like saying, who is family though? And what family is supposed to be? And when you think about that and you realize that the family that you have sometimes can be the most damaging and dangerous thing that you can have. Many persons suffer serious life-threatening blows from the family itself than strangers outside. And so we have to be careful. In fact, here's another part. You incur extended families, which are persons who are married into you, that will cause you even more harm than good. So it's like, people always say about this marriage thing. When you're married, remember, you don't just marry the woman or the man, you marry their family. Oh God, if anybody had told me this earlier, I could have said, why you never tell me? But guess what? I knew. I was told every single day of the week. And then the next thing you know, you grab up this person, marry them because you're so in love. And the next thing, you marry into a set of scorpions. and wasp. And all sorts of demon possessed people, right? You start to find yourself in a problem, right?
But that's a relationship that we're moving away from.
No, I'm saying, but it's not the relationship that is the problem. That's what I'm saying.
It is, because it's a relationship with those.
But the person that you have is not the toxic person. That's the person that you love. And the person who loves
your role is going to be, Mikey G, for 2025.
Yes.
All those persons who you have identified as scorpions and
man, but you're already married. You're already married.
Yes, you're going to go and you're going to, what they say, that you're going to throw love on them so much that they're going to...
Scorpion. You know the story of the scorpion?
Well, I know you know the story of the scorpion, Mikey G.
The story of the scorpion is that no matter how much love you give to the scorpion,
that's a scorpion. That's a scorpion. You have to be responsible for your actions, even if it kills you.
The scorpion will say, it's in my nature. I don't want it.
Listen. So the scorpion was given a chance to save itself, its life. Ask the duck swimming across the stream, please, Mr. Duck, Mrs. Duck, could you take me across? Duck says, Scorpion, you are known for stinging and killing things. I'm not going to put you on my back, right? And so Scorpion says, look, if I sting you, both of us will die, and I want to just simply get across. Why would I want to do that to you, even if I even think it? Scorpion and the duck thought it was a good idea. For those who don't know the story very well, and for those who know, I reiterate and actually bring it back to your mind. Scorpion says, Duck was agreeable. I said, oh my, it's inspiring. I mean, I can appreciate that. Jump on, Mr. Scorpion, and off the road, in the middle of the stream, in the middle of the pond, that little pond right there to go across the other side. A sharp pain run down the spine of the duck. Duck says, I mean, in his mindset, I can't be because look at this. You could say you just killed both of us, Scorpion. Why did you sting me? Scorpion response
Isn't
was,
that
the
is that
Scorpion.
what Jesus did?
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Mikey
The Scorpion's response was, Lady CoraleeKaren, it's in my. Why did you sting me?
It's in
God, the
my-
Scorpion apologized profusely. Oh, I am so sorry. And of course, the sorry did not come from a place. It was very disheartening for him, the Scorpion, because he knew that he did something wrong, and he was very, very upset about it, and was very grateful about the action that he took. But he says, it's in my nature to sting. Now, when you find these people, you're already married into the relationship. I don't think you can go spread the love now to try to change a Scorpion.
You have to. You have to, because that's what you're
could you
called.
not- could you-
Mikey G, that's what Jesus did for you. And so even to death, he was willing to do whatever it took to reconcile you to himself. And so you, as a child, as his,
Can I say
going after
something in
his
my defense?
example,
Can I say something?
no, you're not defending yourself. You have to go in pursuit. Look at Hosea and Gomer. You have to go after and make.
Could I
have to
say
be-
something in my defense, please?
I'm going to pray for you, Mikey G. I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to pray for the rest of us, because it's not as easy. I mean, all joke aside, I agree with you. It is not as easy as saying it. But that is what we're called to do.
Well,
If it is that we're going to represent Christ to our neighbor, and I will go to the definition that Jesus gave. Your neighbor is every single person who you come in contact with. Your family, by virtue of the fact that Christ died for us, our family is every single person, even the Scorpion relations that we have. We have to go after it, even unto death.
Can I just say this?
Okay.
With the Scorpion idea, it is this. First, I was about to say, I am not Jesus, so I'm not going to be taking that one. But anyways, let's leave that. I'm going to leave that. I said it, but I'm going to just take it off the table for a minute. But at least we must let common sense and good sense prevail. That not to let them on your back, because the nature of Scorpions is this thing. So, you could love them from a distance. You could...
Vulnerability!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I am not prepared to be stung in the middle of this ocean with a scorpion on my back that I put on it deliberately, knowing the very nature of that animal, right? I'm gonna give it a nice dry stick to float on, and you can take it any destination. Sting that stick all you want, right? But I'm not going to give you access to me to do any more damage than you could possibly do already, and to keep you a little way. I'll try to love you from the distance that it's safe, that I could not be stung by you, because I know what you can do, and so I'm not going to hug you, Scorpion person. I'm not really. I commend you. I would say I commend
No,
you.
but I will say to you that I have as much a challenge as you do.
Yes.
I hear Lady Elise saying we should be intentional, we should be deliberate. And so for me, I'm going to try. I'm going to see how I can balance what you said so that good sense does prevail, because you know that the devil is out there coming, he has come down with great wrath, and so you still have to be as wise.
As wise,
You know?
yes.
And so it's balancing the two. I still see that vulnerability being compromised if we stay a distance. But you know what? All things through Christ.
Alright,
And
very
if
quick,
it is that He's putting us on the mission field, then I believe He will equip us. He will put us in His armor.
But before you answer the question, Mikey G, I am the clock on the wall. I am not even saying I see.
Well, let
I
me
am
shoot the question.
the
Let me shoot the
literal
question,
clock.
and it can be a tomorrow morning conversation, but let me just shoot it. The sexual harassment bill that comes out is geared towards really men in a lot of ways. That's what it is. It's about men, right? It's about, in fact, sorry, let me ask the question. What is the sexual harassment bill about? Maybe Lady Elise could tell us. What is it geared for?
Well, actually, I mean, I will take it on myself to read whatever is available, but from what I gather, it is really focused on the workplace because the employers are encouraged to develop policies to protect. It did not speak to any specific gender or sex.
No, sex.
Because
No. The word gender, I'm not going with that word. That word,
alright, so it didn't speak to any sex.
Like Donald Trump. Ban the word gender on the breakfast hour.
So there was no sex.
That includes too many different animals right there. No.
Okay.
Sex.
So the
Just say male
sex.
and female. Sex. That's it. We don't want
Yes,
more animals getting in
it wasn't specific to sex because, and so from that standpoint, I am taking the position that men can be harassed as well as
Alright,
women,
fine.
and so the protection would be for both. So
Alright,
I'll take a look at the bill.
Here's where I'm going to go. Because the sexual harassment bill, as a man, I already know what it is. It is geared towards a lot of ways. No, I'm saying this. It's geared towards men in a lot of ways. And it's not something that I'm making up. When you hear the thing, when we read it next week, later on this week, you're going to hear it. But I'm going to say this. If it is geared towards men in this way, and should we ask women that it's an harassment towards men, should you now cover up that you don't harass us by being too naked on the road or when we see you in the workplace? No, that's a question. It's on the table.
We'll answer that. We'll prepare to answer that, lady.
Let me take a break and come back right now. Let me take a break and come back quickly. Welcome back. Good morning again. Of course, took a short little break just to, Alright. I shall pose the question like this in CoraleeKaren. Should it be considered harassment to see some of the dress codes that some persons have in the workplace?
And at church as well.
Wait, no, listen, don't even go no further. Listen, do not mention the church, because that's a different thing altogether, right?
So hold on. Remember, you have the tight pants for the men.
No, I am saying I am going
And you
there. I
have
am going
the,
there.
the clothing for the women.
The men wear
So
them,
I
wear
think
them underwear and all these things. Yes, I am going there. I am going there. Cause I can't figure out. I can't figure out what a man have, what business a man have showing the whole underwear. Or who is, what's going on with that idea? A man walking with his underwear showing, and the whole everybody need to see what color underwear he is wearing. Who is he showing that to? Because certainly I don't want to see it. And so the man who wants to see it is not me. Who wants to see somebody showing the underwear? A man showing the underwear. No, that's just.
But what I have
right?
observed, Mikey G, is that the tightness more so than the loose pants, is that the pants for men have gotten a bit tight and very revealing as well.
So you think
So
that
I'm
could be harassment like
wondering.
that's a part of the sexual harassment that they could face?
I'm thinking that it is for both to consider whether or not they are attracting, but I think we can continue the conversation because it sounds like we're getting into something that is
Might need to read.
explosive.
Might need to read the
Because
bill.
you cannot start at the end of a program.
Listen.
Like, how can you even
Nothing is
ask
wrong.
a
Nothing is
question?
wrong with starting it here. Let's come back
You're
tomorrow
leaving
morning.
at the hanger like
No.
that.
Let's go
Cliffhangers.
Let's come tomorrow morning right here on the breakfast hour when we look at the bill, the sexual harassment bill that is being published, and then we can look at it at length and then discuss it and see what it is all about, what are we asking, and then see how it actually who will be affected, and if and so why. We can look at these things.
Absolutely.
When we come back
Mikey G,
tomorrow morning, right here
as-
for the breakfast hour, yes.
Absolutely. As usual, we can depend on you to be thought-provoking. And as you rightly said, Lady Elise, the clock on the wall has given us indication that it's time for us to bid our wonderful listeners farewell, to wish them a magnificent Monday, that they will be deliberate, intentional in making it a positive day, and to let nothing and no one sting them. But be the change, be the positive force in the space that you occupy, and make sure that however you see it, let somebody else know. Start with yourself. Affirm yourself. Be positive about who you are. Be thankful that you're here, and let that positiveness oozes in the space that you occupy so that no negative can intrude. And so I want to use the opportunity to say thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just being a part of the community. And as you go throughout today, be the positive force that is needed in this time and this day.
All right, Elise, I think she's going to say and close us out this morning on the breakfast hour this morning.
Yes, and Coralie has said it quite eloquently. And have yourself a beautiful and wonderful day. Looking forward to see you tomorrow when we're joined by our financial advisor as we take our finances in hand. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.